Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be makeup related, which is super fun and exciting because I haven't done a makeup video on my channel in a bit, and these are really fun for me, and I know that a lot of you guys were here in the beginning for my makeup videos. So I'm going to be doing a how I used to do my makeup versus how I do it now. So half of my face is going to be done in like the way I used to do my makeup all the time, like a couple years ago. And then on the other side of my face, I'm going to be doing how I do my makeup now, like on a regular basis. So I really hope that you guys enjoy today's video. If you do, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And don't forget to subscribe down below if you have not already. You can also tap the notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload new videos, as well as come join me on Instagram and Twitter if you want to be more a part of this community that we're creating. And we're just going to go ahead and jump into the video because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a long one. Okay, so I have all of my products laid out in front of me. I'm just going to pop my hair back into a scrunchie. Please excuse if I have like streakiness anywhere, like the back of my hand, for instance, because I haven't washed off my self-tan yet. I self-tanned last night and I haven't washed off the color guard, so it's not looking perfect. I wanted to film this video first. It feels so weird to sit down to do a makeup video. Like it's been so long, I feel like. So something that I used to always do, which I still do if I am doing like a full face of makeup, is do my eyeshadow first, just so that I wouldn't have any fallout on my foundation. But now I tend to not wear as much eyeshadow, so I'll usually do it at the end or like in the middle of my routine. But since I am doing a more full eye makeup look on one side of my face, I am going to do my eyes first, just to make sure that I don't have any fallout on the one side of my face. And I'm going to be doing the old makeup on this side and the new makeup on this side. So I'm going to be using the e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer for this left side of my face. I guess it would be your right side. And I still love this concealer, you guys. Like, I have nothing against this concealer at all. It's just more full coverage than what I wear all the time now. Like, I still like a good full coverage concealer, but I tend to go for something that blends out super quickly and easily. And for me, that is the ColourPop No Filter. I've used like the majority of this product. There's not that much left in there. I'm gonna blend out this side first with a brush. I completely forgot to wet my sponge, so I'm gonna need to go do that in the middle of this video since I didn't do it before. And then I'm going to go ahead and set that with powder right away. Nowadays, I often don't set my eyelids with powder, but I'm going to anyways because I put a decent amount of concealer on. I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte. It just really depends on how much time I have. Most of the makeup I do nowadays is done in a really big hurry, so that's why I don't end up doing as much. So for the old side, I'm going to be using the RCMA No Color Powder. I still absolutely love this powder. I just tend to not use it as much because it is pretty messy, and I like something that's going to be super quick. So I'm going to do the old side of my face first, and for that I'm going to be using the Morphe and Kathleen Lights palette. This was a limited edition palette, so you can't get it anymore, but this is one that I used to use all the time, so I thought I may as well use it today. I just want to preface by saying that I was never the type to wear like super glam, thick, cakey makeup and put on like lashes all the time or anything like that. It's just a lot more toned down now than it used to be, which I feel like it was never that dramatic. I never really wear that much eyeshadow anymore. Not that I don't like to, I just don't find myself taking the time to, I guess. We are going to be going in with this shade up here first. Have to remember to not apply this on both eyes. Just a thin layer of that, and then I'm going to go in with this mustardy tone down here. And I'm going to apply this on the crease as well, and then bring it down on the outer corner a little bit. And then I'm going to grab this darker browny reddish shade and put that on the outer corner and blend it into the crease. This is a very typical eye look for me when I used to do my eyeshadow, like very typical warm look, which I still tend to prefer warm tones, but I just don't tend to go in with 3 shades. And then I'm going to grab the gold shade in this palette, this one right here, and I'm gonna actually take my finger and apply this. I'm just applying this to like the inner part of my lid, or like the inner half, I guess, and then blending it. And I still do looks like this, you guys. It's just not on a regular basis, which I feel like I used to like be the kind of girl that did like a full makeup look, or I wore no makeup at all. There was no in between for me. And then I'm going to take that brush again that I used, and I'm going to take a little bit more of the darkest shade that I used earlier, this one, and I'm going to blend that out with that dark shade and blend into the crease and all that good stuff. And there we have it. Nothing over the top, but just like a basic look for me that I used to do all the time. Then for the other side, I'm going to grab this single shadow from ColourPop. This is Paper Tiger, and this is just like a really pretty yellowy mustard kind of shade, which I still tend to go for the same types of shades, like warm tones, but this is just a lot lighter. It's super easy to throw in the crease. I'll just take a little bit on a blending brush, tap off the excess, and just go straight into the crease with that. And that will be like my look, my one eyeshadow look. And sometimes I will take this on the lid as well and just blend it up into the crease, but more often than not, just put this into the crease. And that's it for the eyes. I'm gonna move on to the face now, and we're gonna be priming this side first. I'm going to use the NYX Angel Veil. This is a primer that I used to use all the time. This is like my go-to holy grail primer. And while I do still love this primer, I go for something a lot more moisturizing and just more glowy now. I feel like this is not mattifying, but it's more of like a smoothing, pore filling primer, I guess. So I'm just applying this to this side of the face, and it's definitely like a white, creamy primer. And then for the other side, I'm going to be using the Bare Minerals Prep Step Moisture Set Radiant Prep Cream. Such a long name. This is actually almost empty, and this is really just like a moisturizer with a fancy name. I tend to not use primers as much anymore because I don't use as much full coverage or as much foundation as I used to. So I often just use like a moisturizer or something light like this. But I do also like primer as well. Like I love the NYX Angel Veil primer for when I'm doing a full face of makeup that I really want to last. But I just go for something lighter on a regular basis as opposed to using a primer like that every day. Kind of got a lot of product, but that's okay. Extra hydration. And to me, like this side already looks more hydrated and like plump and glowy. This side is just a lot more matte. For foundation for this side, I'm gonna be going in with the Maybelline Matte and Poreless. I do have self tan on right now, so this is like a little bit of a darker shade, but I used to always use this foundation and I still like it. It's still a great foundation, but it's matte, and even though it's not super matte, it's more like skin-like. I just tend to go for something even more glowy now. So take my sponge and go straight in. I just realized I forgot to put earrings in my first piercing. That's great, so I'm on camera with one earring in my second piercing. It's actually weird to see this foundation on my skin. That's how long it's been since I've worn it. And I guess I'll just turn the sponge around and use the other side for the other side of my face. I am going to be using the Stila Aqua Glow Serum Foundation. This is like a very glowy, dewy foundation, but I'm going to mix in a little bit of my Clinique Even Better because this is actually the foundation I use regularly because it is more my shade. This one is darker, so I'm using it now that I'm self-tanned, but I still really love it. I just don't have it in my like traditional light white bright shade. Let's use a little bit of that, and then a little bit of the Clinique one. And this one is in the shade WN04 Bone. I guess I'll just go in and apply this one with my fingers since that's what I usually do anyways, and I've been blending it with my fingers. So just go straight in with the other side of my sponge. And that's already looking so much more like healthy. So that's where we are with foundation, and now I'm going to do concealer on the under eye. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Camo one, of course, that I used earlier, and this one's like pretty light for this foundation, but that's okay. And I never was the type, honestly, to do like a full triangle of concealer under my under eye. I've just never really done that, so I'm not going to do that today, but I still would put like a lot of a full coverage concealer on, I guess. Since I have always had creasy under eyes, I always put powder on right after I apply my concealer, so that's what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to use the RCMA powder again. Whew, that came flying out. I have always liked to go in with a sponge to apply my powder, but I don't always do it nowadays just because it takes a little bit of extra time. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I feel like I was out of frame for half of that. So for this side, I'm just gonna go straight in, do about that much. I don't like to do too much concealer because I find that it tends to get really like cakey underneath my eyes over time. Like throughout the day, it'll start to crease more than if I do less concealer and just like apply how much I need, I guess. I do have really dark circles though, so I do need like a decent amount of concealer, like I always have. I'm just gonna go with that Rimmel Stay Matte powder that I used earlier, and I am gonna set it with the sponge because this is a pressed powder, so it's like super fast to do this. Reach for loose powders more now, only because they're so fast and easy, they don't make a mess. That's just what I'm all about, quick and easy. So I am gonna do my lower lash line now, and for this side, I'm just gonna quickly do a couple of those darker shades that I used in my crease, mix them together and blend them on the lower lash line. For this side, I don't always use something on my lower lash line because I don't always wear mascara on my lower lash line. Sometimes I will do a little bit of eyeshadow under there, like the same one I used in the crease, but I'm actually not going to today because I want you guys to see what it looks like now when I just wear mascara on my top lashes. It's a very like open, wide awake look. And I used to always wear mascara on my lower lashes. I do sometimes, and I sometimes also put eyeshadow on the lower lash line. I don't a lot of the time, so I want to kind of show you guys what that looks like for me. Back to the side, I'm going to use a little brush and just blend a couple of those shades together. While we're at it, I'm also going to add this like bright white highlighty shade to the inner corner because I used to always do that as well. I still sometimes will add something bright to the inner corner, but I just don't as often because, like I said, it just takes extra time. So for this side, I think I am going to add a little bit of a dark brown liner to my waterline. I guess this isn't a dark brown liner, it's just like a medium warm brown. I don't really do that anymore as much. So for this side, I'm actually gonna use a white pencil or a light, like a nude pencil. I used to always apply powder to my entire face, which is pretty crazy because I never do that now, like never. And it's also crazy because this is like a matte foundation. Like this does not need a powder on it at all. I'm actually gonna go ahead and spot conceal that little spot right there just because it's really driving me crazy. I've also got a giant pimple in my ear. You can probably see that, I don't know, but it's a little aggressive. I'm just gonna blend that spot out. So I am just gonna use the pressed powder because I would often use a pressed powder to set my face just because it was really quick and easy. And I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush in there, which is what I would use, a huge brush like this, and I would just set my entire face. This is like killing me, dude, like killing me. It's so matte already. It does not need powder. My skin has definitely changed though a lot in the last couple of years. I used to have very, very oily skin and now my skin is pretty much normal. And I honestly think I changed that due to using oils on my face. Like it really helped to, over time, actually combat the oiliness because I was giving my face the moisture that it needed so it wouldn't have to overproduce oils. That's a story for a different day, but there you have it. So for this side, I'm not going to do anything. Sometimes I will set like my forehead lines or my smile lines a little bit because they tend to crease when I'm using a thicker or full coverage foundation, but I'm not going to worry about setting the creases because they look like they're fine to me. And the only other time I will use powder on my face nowadays is if I have a blemish. Like right there, I would set that because the concealer would rub off. So since I don't have a pimple on this side of my face, I'm not going to set it. I'm not going to touch it with powder. I can already tell that my skin is like soaking up some of that dewiness that I had going on. So we're already losing a little bit of that. I'm not going to set any of it. I always set my under eyes though because I need to. Like they crease way too bad and the concealer would just look crazy if I didn't. But let's go ahead and do some bronzer and blush and highlight, of course. So for this side of my face, we're going to be using the e.l.f. Perpetually Tan bronzer. This is a nice bronzer. I still use it sometimes. I just tend to go a lot more for a cream bronzer, and I also use cream blush a lot more as well, just because I love the dewy effect that it gives to my skin. So I'm going to just take this big e.l.f. brush. I still love this brush, but I'm just going to use this. On the old side, we're going to use the Tarte Party Blush. This is just like a matte powder blush, and I still love this blush. I actually still use it quite a bit, but I just don't use it as often as I used to. I tend to go for a cream blush. The one I have is the ColourPop Blush Sticks in the shade Aloha. This is just a really pretty, great shade for summer, and I just love the dewiness that it adds to my skin. And just a nice fluffy brush, and just apply this here. And I used to always apply my blush just here along the cheekbones. So starting down here and going back up. And that is the only place I would apply my blush. I didn't add a lot because I didn't like too much blush. Nowadays, I'm the total opposite. I love a lot of blush, and I love to bring it up onto the apples of my cheeks and onto my nose and just add a lot of color to my face. So I'm going to take this cream blush, and I'm actually going to add it to the back of my hand because I like to do it this way. And then I will just go in from there with this brush, and I like to use this stipple brush from Royal & Langnickel. I've had this forever. It's like a duo fiber stipple brush, and it's great for cream products. So I'm just going to go in and apply it right here first, and then go back and bring it up. So I like to bring it up way onto the apples of the cheeks, like almost under the eye. And I'll even take some on the nose, just like on this side if I can do that. And I just like a lot more blush than I used to. So for highlight, not much has changed if I'm being 100% honest. I still like a good blinding highlight, but I use natural ones more often than I use blinding highlights, if that makes sense. I used to also only apply my highlight on the tops of my cheekbones and a little bit on my nose. Now I tend to like put it everywhere, but I use less of it. So I don't use as much highlight as I used to, just in general, but I would put it kind of all over my face. And I would just go right here, like in a stripe. Now I tend to apply it more like in a blending swirly motion to kind of like give it a diffused look, and I don't use quite as much. So I'm just gonna apply that to my nose. I guess we'll turn the brush around. And for the other side, we're gonna use the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I've loved this forever. I use this even a long time ago, so I've never been really the kind of person that always has to have a blinding highlight. I just liked it a lot more often. So going in with the Essence one, and now I kind of go in on the apples of the cheeks and just kind of like more of a swirly motion, kind of like blend it there over the where the blush is. I love the look of the highlight on top of the blush. Take the excess on my nose, and then I'll take a little bit right on my forehead above like the arch of my brow, and then just a little touch on the chin. Moving on to eyebrows. My eyebrows are actually tinted right now, and I used to never tint my eyebrows because I didn't know about that little hack. And I would always fill them in with a brow pencil, like intensely fill them in, and then use a clear brow gel. So my brows don't really need that much filling in right now, but I'm gonna do it anyway because that's what I used to do. And you know, not that much has changed. Like I will sometimes still like completely fill my brows in. I just use a tinted brow gel more often because it's really quick. So I'm just gonna do it like how I always did before. Blend that out with the brush. And then I will take the e.l.f. clear brow gel and just set that down. And I would always make sure that my brow hairs were like falling in place, back in a line. I did not like the fluffy look. I didn't want them to be sticking up. I just felt like it looked crazy on me. Now I love that like bushy, kind of stuck up brow look because my brow hairs aren't like that long anyway. So for the other side, I'm gonna use the Essence Make Me Brow. This is like a tinted brow gel, and I'm just gonna run it through my brows really quick. That's kind of all they need right now anyways because they are tinted, like I said. And I like to just like push them up a little bit. I don't know if you guys can even tell on camera, but that pretty much sums it up, the difference between how my brows used to look and how they look now more often. I guess I'll do my lips before I do mascara. Not much has changed with lining. Sometimes now I will overline a little bit, especially to even my lips out because the one side is larger than the other side. But for the most part, not too much has changed. So I'm just gonna kind of quickly line my lips. And the new side of my face is actually the side where my lips are a little smaller, so I will just go ahead and overline those since that's what I always do nowadays anyways. I don't overline much, I just try to even it out. For the old side, we're going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Gloss, which is the weirdest name because this is definitely not a gloss, it's just like a moussey consistency. And I used to always love to wear the matte liquid lipsticks. Like that was the thing on YouTube. While I still love liquid lipsticks, I don't go for matte liquid lipsticks. I don't even think I own a nude matte liquid lipstick. I have like liquid ones, but not like ones that dry super matte. I kind of got rid of those because I don't tend to go for them. So this is what I have and I still like this. I just don't use it as often. And for this side, I'm going to grab this like Tintin Balm by YSL. I'm not sure of the exact name of this, but it's like one of those tinted shine lipsticks. It's like very light coverage. It's like, it tastes like a minty watermelon. It's so good. I'll just run that over because it's super easy and quick to apply, which is what I love. And I think I'll actually go on top of this side as well with the e.l.f. Lip Oil in Nude Kiss. I love to use a gloss or a lip oil on top of my lip products now. I hope I'm not out of frame for like half this video. I think I kind of got a little too low in my chair or made my camera too high, one or the other. So there we have the lips. Not too much difference, honestly. It used to be that this side would be super matte and now it kind of has a little bit of glow to it because that lip product isn't completely matte, but like I said, I don't really have matte lip products anymore. So I'm just gonna curl my lashes and apply mascara on both sides. Not much has changed there. I never really was one to apply lashes all the time. I went through phases, of course, but it was never like something I did regularly, so I'm not going to apply lashes today on either side of my face. And I don't have lash extensions right now because I'm giving my lashes like a nice break. I'm just going to use my CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara in Very Black. And my lashes have gotten so long since using castor oil on them that I almost have to blink every single time I apply a coat of mascara. It's crazy, like my mascara will get all over my eyelids if I don't do that. And I literally had like no lashes a couple of weeks ago because I had taken my eyelash extensions off and now they've grown. Like, it's just crazy what castor oil can do. And then I'm just applying them to the top on this side, and then on this side I'll do top and bottom. And there you have it, folks. We're just going to leave it at that. I know, honestly, the sides don't look that different, but to me, like, I can definitely tell where it's changed and how I do it differently. Like, the technique has changed so much. And I'm gonna get in close so you guys can see. To me, this side is just a lot more glossy, dewy, kind of plump, light makeup. And obviously, like, this side is still really pretty. I have absolutely nothing against it. And I actually do often wear eye looks like this now. It's just not my regular look like what it used to be. And honestly, a lot of the time it would be even more dramatic than this. Like, I would have like a black eyeshadow on my lash line, which I was actually going to do today and I completely forgot. So I'm not gonna go dig in my drawer right now for a black eyeshadow to do my lash line with because I didn't always do it. But like, you get the gist. The eye look would be more dramatic than it is now sometimes. And sometimes I would have, you know, a darker lip, a brighter lip. I don't tend to wear bright lips as much nowadays unless it's like a very sheer product, just because it's not practical for me, I guess, on like a regular basis. But anyways, yeah, guys, there you have it. This is the finished look, or looks. That's gonna be everything. I hope that you guys found this video interesting, even though it's not like the craziest difference. I hope that you enjoyed this anyway. This was fun for me to film. I think it was just enjoyable for me to sit down and do a makeup video since it's been so long. And I can tell already that this video is going to be so long. It's going to be so hard to edit, but that's how the makeup videos are. I'm just not as used to that anymore. But regardless, I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have stuck around till the end, you're a real one. Comment down below a sushi emoji. Comment a sushi emoji if you are here at the end of the video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Subscribe down below and stay tuned for some new videos next week. And I will see you guys next time. Bye. So I'm just going to, whoa. Did you guys see that? That literally just like fell off of my face. I'm going to take my hair down. Cover the fact that I don't have earrings on right now.